This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. More bloodshed spilled on the streets of the capital, and police are on the hunt to find the culprits. We're told that shortly before 9 p.m., police were alerted to a shooting incident that took place on Sydney Street, Chippingham, on Sunday night. On arrival, officers discovered the body of a male who was believed to be in his early 30s on the ground with apparent gunshot wounds to the head. Here's Police Press Liaison Officer Assistant Superintendent Audley Peters with more details.
The initial investigations reveal that the male has recently arrived home when a lone gunman approached his vehicle, tapped on the window. The gentleman came out and a struggle ensued. However, the gunman was able to overpower him and shot him several times before making his escape to a vehicle that was waiting.
ASP Peters says there's a possibility that the deceased and the assailant knew each other. However, officers are not 100% sure. Police also could not say if it was a robbery or attempted robbery at this time. However, the police sends this message to the public.
We're appealing to members of the public who may have any information in regards to this incident to contact Crime Stoppers or the Criminal Investigations Department at 502-9991. Again, as we would have reiterated before, persons who may be aware of individuals who are in possession of a firearm to also contact the police to assist us in ridding our streets from these firearm and other offensive weapons.
Last week, there was a police-involved shooting on Poitiers Street adjacent to Sydney Street. Meantime, this is the capital's third homicide within the last 6 days. Police on the island of New Providence are also investigating a traffic fatality which occurred on Sunday. Preliminary reports indicate that shortly after 2 a.m., police received information of a traffic accident involving serious injuries in the vicinity of Skyline Drive. Officers responded, and on their arrival at the scene, they found a single vehicle accident involving a white Nissan Premier which collided into a tree. An inspection of the vehicle revealed a Caucasian male in the right front driver's seat who, when checked, was unresponsive. Emergency medical services was summoned to the scene, and on completion of their assessment, the male was pronounced lifeless. Initial investigations suggest that the driver was traveling south along Skyline Drive when, for some unknown reason, he veered off the side of the street. In an attempt to compensate, he lost control of the vehicle and collided into a coconut tree on the western side of the street and succumbed to his injuries. The Police Traffic Division will continue investigations into this accident. In news from the courts, there have been a rash of murders in the capital over the past few weeks, and the police are doing their best to bring those culprits to justice. On Monday, the calendar for the Magistrates Court at Nassau Street was heavy with a number of murder and attempted murder suspects being officially charged. Dorino Saunders has more.
The Nassau Street Court complex erupted into near chaos with family and supporters of both victims and suspects in several recent murders all coming together at the courthouse. There was screaming and shouting, and then the sound of gunshots sent the crowd into panic. It was later learned that the gunfire came from a moving vehicle heading south on Nassau Street, just steps away from the police station. Witnesses say the vehicle turned west onto Quarry Mission Road, disappearing into the community. No injuries were reported as a result of the gunshots reportedly fired into the air. Meantime, in Court Number 9, Chief Magistrate Jcn Ferguson Pratt heard 2 of 5 murder cases on Monday's calendar. In the first case, 22-year-old Zavago Gator was charged with the June 4th shooting death of Alvaro DeVoe and the attempted murder of 4 others, namely Glenn White, Justin Campbell, Kevin Solomon, and Jameson Jacob. According to the initial police report, around 10 p.m. on Friday, June 4th, a group of men were standing on Milton Street. They were fired upon by gunshots, resulting in 4 of them being hit. DeVoe later succumbed to his injuries, while the other 3 victims are recovering from their injuries. Gator was not required to enter a plea. The Crown will proceed with a voluntary bill of indictment. Gator returns to court on October 5th at 12 noon. Meanwhile, Magistrate Jcn Ferguson Pratt was familiar with Gator's name, as she had recently issued a warrant for his arrest for failing to follow court orders regarding bail on a separate armed robbery charge. Gator was denied bail and remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. In the second matter, 21-year-old Philip Taylor was charged with the murder of Leonardo Nottage. Prosecutors proceeded with a voluntary bill of indictment. Taylor was denied bail and will return to court on September 28th to answer to the charges. He was returned to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Meanwhile, in Magistrate Court Number 8, Marvin Augustine and Romero Roll were also charged with murder and possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life. Now, in Magistrate Court Number 5, Justin Curtis was charged with murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life. Also in Court Number 5 on Monday, Alan McKinney charged with murder. All of the accused are expected to have their date in court, where they will either prove their innocence or be found guilty. Chirino Saunders for Jcn News.
In court news from Grand Bahama, 2 males arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson in Court Number 1, Freeport, for possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply. Both pleaded not guilty to the charges. That's 36-year-old Terrell Gregory Williams of Rustic Road, New Providence, who was granted bail in the amount of $3,500 and is to sign into the Carmichael Road Police Station on Monday and Thursday. Meantime, 38-year-old Roland Jcn Strawn of number 28 Robinson Road, New Providence, was also granted bail in the amount of $3,500 and is to sign into the Central Police Station over on Grand Bahama. The matter was adjourned to Monday, September 6, 2021 at 10 a.m. You're watching Jcn News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.